Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for this presentation on career planning with a client that I recently saw. A little bit of background. The client is a 44-year-old white male who has worked as a welder for the past 20 years. And although he scored very high on assessments throughout grade school and high school in standardized testing, he never really gave much interest to school or actually going to class. He ended up dropping out of school about halfway through his senior year and ended up getting his GED. He never had any type of career assessments because of that fact. He didn't recall ever taking career counseling or career assessments of any type. He did marry and had a child shortly out of high school and worked several odd jobs in the construction fields. He did learn how to become a welder in his early 20s because he thought that it would be a higher paying trade to learn, so he went that route. Although he has really enjoyed welding over the years, he's grown really tired of the working conditions. He's gotten older, and the physical work in unsavory locations has been quite challenging for him to sustain. He's ready for a career change, but has really not much self-awareness regarding his career interests or values. He believes there are limited or just only a few options available to him, as he has spent most of his life in the welding trade. And because of his current age, he does not feel that he'd be very marketable to employers. He does have many other construction related skills, but they do all involve, some heavy lifting and physical working conditions. So he's not really sure what path to take at this point. He's a little bit leery of switching, the type of career completely, just again because of his age. He's concerned about the money. He's kind of gotten to the higher pay scale for a welder, and he fears that if he were to start, something new now at his age, he would kind of have to start all over, and he's not really looking to do that. Some things that he has enjoyed, he has actually gotten to do some leadership, managerial types of um, roles, fulfilled those roles with his current employer. He's gotten to oversee a couple of bigger welding jobs, some welding shop foreman duties where he oversaw a handful of welders, and he really did enjoy that aspect. And so we decided to start working with the client. I administered the Cooter Skills Confidence Assessment, and that resulted in a Holland Personality Type Code of RSE, Realistic Social Enterprising, and a Holland Code of RSA, Realistic Social Artistic, for the Cooter Career Interests assessment results. And according to Holland's personality type codes, the realistic code includes interest in activities that include working with objects, tools, machines, and animals, confident in having mechanical, technical, or athletic skills, solves problems using concrete, practical, and structured solutions, according to Cooter 2020. And the client scored the highest in this category for both interests and confidence. And the social S code includes interests and activities that include working to inform, develop, heal, and teach other people, confident in developing and growing human relationships, solves problems through empathy, helping others to succeed, and seeking maturity. And his Code S score was actually his highest ranking for both interest and career competence. And it actually, I'm sorry, it actually tied with the enterprising on the confidence scale, and artistic came in third on the interest scale. So, and obviously, characteristics of the enterprising include interest and activities that include working to achieve economic gain, as well as personal or organizational goals, and artistic. And artistic includes interests and activities that include working with physical, verbal, or human materials to create art, products, or communication. Now, it's not surprising that the client scored highest in the realistic personality code for both the Cooter career interests and the Cooter skills competence scales. He has spent the majority of his life working with his hands, using tools and reading blueprints to determine practical solutions for structural designs. And his second personality type of S is consistent with his interest in taking on that managerial role in the welding field. He has recently been given those opportunities to oversee some productions and supervising of employee processes. And of course, the enterprising would also be consistent with working to achieve economic gain and personal or organizational goals, which again is in line with his need for to keep found a sound financial portfolio based on his age and where he's at developmentally. Excuse me. Um, I will say that though that the client was pretty frustrated with the results, although they weren't too surprising. I believe he was hoping that he would find an underlying interest or a skill, maybe something new that he would have to offer. So he was a bit disappointed that it seemed to him that all of the skills are kind of really tied into what he's been doing for the past 20 years, all of the interests and even the values that he places on those things. It was a little bit, I guess, of a struggle for him to internalize. There were some discussions about him feeling almost not intelligent enough to work outside of a blue collar trade, always feeling a little bit inferior to those who have college degrees and don't necessarily have to use their hands for their livelihood. So that was a concern. From a career counseling standpoint, he would definitely benefit from further exploration into remaining in the same field that he does seem to enjoy, and kind of expanding his role into more of a leadership responsible role. I think this would allow him to hone in on his social and enterprising personality traits and forego the strenuous working conditions that he wants to escape. This would also satisfy his need for continued financial stability. And as his career counselor, I would assist him in locating educational and career focused resources to enhance his leadership and managerial skills. I may also suggest researching the current job market where he resides to identify leadership opportunities in his field of interest, or provide self-advocacy tips to even maybe use with his current employer. So one of the best websites through the U.S. Department of Labor would utilize with the client would be Career One Stop. And based on their website, they are described as being is the flagship career training and job search website for the U.S. Department of Labor. The website serves job seekers, businesses, students, and career advisors the variety of free online tools, information, and resources. And then the Occupational Information Network is also another free online database that contains hundreds of occupational definitions to help students, job seekers, businesses, and workplace development professionals to understand today's world of work in the United States. And then also, it is a possibility that we could continue on with the Cooter Journey site. This would be more of a, I guess, more of an integrated career planning system that would kind of be all encompassing. It is a site that he would have to pay for, but kind of like Career One Stop, I would encourage or help the client initially to start out using various technologies. Obviously, the internet, because most of these are standalone websites. Um, so for Career One Stop, this would be a great way for him to go in. He can type in, welding shop foreman, see exactly what skills or education training that might be needed for him to move on to that type of role. Can also look and see what resources there are available to him in his region or in his town, specifically to help him with the training or further education that he might need. In addition to that, he can also search for current job openings in his area. He can see what the pay scales are for that type of career that he's interested in. So really, it's kind of a holistic website that allows him to not only search for open jobs along that line, but also to see what kind of training and development that he would need to be able to acquire that kind of position. There's also many social media, smartphone apps, and all kinds of internet sites that would help him to really build confidence, I think, in gaining insight into what his specific interests are. I think that once he has learned some self-advocacy skills, possibly he could take those to his current employer and proposition or propose, a shift in career responsibilities, whether it be for financial gain or just for the benefit of moving out of the physical aspect, because that really seems to be the most important thing for him, is getting out of the strenuous physical working conditions that he's in and moving into something where he's using his imagination and his mind and those skills. So I would definitely point him in the direction of the Career One Stop. Once he's kind of established what training, if any, there's also links and resources to community colleges or just educational programs, technical schools that do offer training in some skills that he maybe doesn't have quite yet, in regard to leadership responsibilities or business, those types of things. Thank you for joining me.